Remember those shoot-'em-up Saturday matinees or your favorite Western TV show? And all the stuff that went with it. Well, it's all still here at the Roy Rogers and Dale Evans Museum in Victorville, California. Well, I guess next to Roy and Dale, the most famous member of the Rogers family was old Trigger here. Now, Trigger was billed as the educated horse. Supposedly, he had a vocabulary of over 400 words. He knew 500 tricks, learned a new one every day, and he appeared in 188 movies with Roy. Now, when you're a horse like Trigger and your riding days come to an end, you don't end up at the glue factory. You go to the taxidermist. Obviously, Roy didn't always rely on Trigger to get around, and when he needed more than 1 horsepower, he still had to look like a cowboy. Case in point, this customized 1963 Pontiac Bonneville. But you know, Roy wasn't the only singing cowboy, and this isn't the only Western museum in town. Come on. We're here at the Autry Museum of Western Heritage, where there's all kinds of neat stuff left over from the B-movie Westerns. With me is, in fact, a star in his own right of the singing cowboy era. Nice to meet you, sir. This is Monty Hale.
How are you?
Monty Hale picked and sang his way through 19 Westerns in the 40s and 50s.
Well, you know what B means, don't you? B Western?
Budget, right?
Budget is
Yeah,
right. I mean, low money. This was, I think, the 3rd color Western I made up here, Prince of the Plains. This is a couple of guns I wore in some of the movies we made. This was one special gun I had made down here with a 1-carat diamond in the handle.
Wow.
And the silver, and some big jewelry company in New York, the Tiffany's, I think, did the designing of that gun for me.
You did not have a champion. You just basically rode generic horses when you were a
I had
cowboy.
a name for a horse. All the good names were taken up, like Champion and Trigger and Silver.
Right.
So I just called mine Fred. I thought that was a good name for a horse.
But not a great marquee name. You don't necessarily want that on your poster. Fred the Wonder Horse.
I was on Giant, I think, 6 months. I got to meet James Dean. I taught him the rope trick he did in there where we were trying to buy the land back from him. I taught him that. He saw me doing ropes one day, and he says, "Can you teach me to do that?" And I says, "I doubt it." And so I got with him and worked with him and everything. And I showed him how to, and I said, "Now use that in a scene." So he used it when we were trying to buy Riata back from him that Luz had left to him in the will.
Right.
So anyhow, he was a loner, but I loved him. He was just a great guy. He was his own man. This is the legends, the guys that I loved to look at when I was growing up, when I was a kid.
The guys who inspired you.
Right, they really did. And starting with Tom Mix over there into Buck Jones. This is Buck's saddle. This was his wife Dell's saddle. He started out as a stunt man. Dell was a trick rider and roper. They met and married.
Now, Tom Mix, he's got some really gorgeous items in his inventory.
Take a look at those shooting irons.
Now, is that real gold plating?
Those are real gold plating, and they were made, I think, also by Tiffany's in New York.
Wow.
A great guy, a great cowboy.
And he was a real man of action. Before he got into the movies, he was an actual lawman. And
that's it.
In real life, bled over into fantasy.
He was a marshal.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
All right, well, thanks very much for showing us around. I really appreciate it, and I love meeting you.
Bless your heart. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Great museum.